Ladies and gentlemen, all the ships at sea. Yeah, I'm loving saying that. That's Walter Winchell from the 50s. We are here for our next broadcast. So let's go ahead and go through it, get to it. And I got a few little things to share with you today. Hopefully, everyone will enjoy. Just setting up a couple of things here. Had to restart my computer. I do hate when that happens. Okay, everybody. So, of course, as always, if you have any questions, go ahead and comment. I'll be glad to answer them tonight. I still have a few things I need to set up for promises that I've made of trying to get deeper into stuff and having some live time for folks. Uh, One of the things I want to talk to you about is I'm getting very close to my goal of, like I have several goals. At the end of last year, I wanted to get to about 750 subscribers. I missed that. I am now ever so close. So if you have not subscribed, I would love for you to do that favor for me. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button. And of course, hit that like button, help the YouTube algorithm, help more folks find me. So let's go ahead and start this the way we normally do things here. I am going to go over and I'm going to start sharing what is going on in the market at this time. So you can see, and I always like to share my work. So this is the MLS. So right now, let's go back. This is actually looking pretty good. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far before I even hit the 7 days. Okay, so 7 day average looks like we have put in 731 new listings. 200 are back on market, which is actually a little bit better than normal. Normally, it's about one third. You can see this is less than one third. 201 price decreases because no matter how great you think your house is, the market determines it. What you want to do is to get your house in a position that's going to get the most people to bid on it. And for whatever reason, there are some price increases. A lot of times, price increases are caused by mistakes from entering or uh, I don't know. Unfortunately, sometimes the seller sees somebody next door sold their house for a certain amount while theirs was listed, and they go like, "Well, I want to raise my price." In reality, you should be lowering. You should keep your price where it is because you'll actually get more money for it. It seems counter to what people would think, but in reality, think about eBay back in the day. When you did eBay back in the day, remember how they always started at a dollar and they would get hundreds of dollars for stuff? It works the same way in housing. Under contract, show and no show, we had 341 and 821 respectively. Now, this week we had 856 homes sell, 44 expired. Let's just take a real quick look at the expireds. As you can see, a few of them went from just plain out being off the market from being withdrawn to to expired, but there are actually more houses that went from active to expired than I'm used to seeing over the last few weeks. So usually a house expires when it doesn't find a seller, and normally your house doesn't find a seller for multiple reasons. The number one is price. Number two is condition. Number three is location. Those are the only three things. Okay, marketing can be a little part of it, but the three main ones are those, and they can always be solved with, of all things, price. If your house is not moving, I'm going to tell you right now, there is nothing your realtor can do about it. It doesn't matter where in this country or Canada. I can't speak for what happens in Mexico. I can't speak for what happens in Europe or Australia. I can just speculate. And price solves every condition. You're next to a high power line, price. You're next to a crack house, price. Uh, but even if you're in the nicest neighborhood, driving up your price isn't going to do anything. Temporarily off market. Sometimes that's because the seller, may have an issue. They have to go do something else. We got 47 of those. We've talked about withdrawals and conditionals quite a bit and coming soon. We have actually a nice number. 79 are coming soon. Let's just take a look at a couple of them. Make this a little bit bigger for you. Huh. Coming soon, that's already had a price increase. That's interesting. But let's concentrate on something else. So we have this a single house that's coming soon for 235. But look here, 698 square feet, two bedrooms, one bath, built in 1958. And I do not believe that zip code is in the greater Las Vegas. Oh, yes, it is. It's on Oakley. Okie. So let's see what she looks like. Okay. I'll just speed through these since these are interior photos of someone's house. Okay, let's get back to here. The interior actually didn't look that bad. 235 is 698 square feet, 700 square feet. It's going to be a tough one. We'll have to see what happens on that. Let's see what the price per square foot is. Let's get a little privacy mode in here. I should actually use my new little privacy thing where I can make things private. You know what? I'm gonna see if that works. Hold on. Just made everything blank out. Never mind. Let me see here. Maybe I can do it this way. And it just keeps blanking everything out. I got a privacy app just to do this, but I got to work with it a bit. So I'm not going to worry about that for now. So what I can tell you is it has a tenant in it right now. They're getting ready to leave. So it's currently no show. Anything special about this thing we need to know? The taxes are less than $300 a year. Unbelievable. Taxes under 300 bucks a year. And the house has been recently remodeled. So it's going to be interesting. Right now, they want $337 per square foot. That is a bit. And to be honest, they may just get it. I can remember looking at houses like this for $40,000 back in the day. So somebody's made some serious money. Let's get back here, see what else is coming soon. 450. That's up. No pictures. 412. That should be interesting. Let's see what we get here. Okay, this is what we're getting for 412 right now. At least what somebody is planning to put it on the market for. Speaking of markets, let's go ahead and do our normal game. Out of this 731, let's find that lowest priced home. That doesn't let me do it when I do it like this. Okay, so playing the game, see if I get this right. Okay, this is in town. A house, single story, 1,200 square feet, 1192, four bedroom, two baths, with a two-car garage, built in 1972. It's on the market for $150,000. Everybody in the audience, I need a drum roll. I can't wait to see this. Okay. Mhm. I'm going to say this. At this price, this house is, I would venture to bet that this house is no longer truly on the market. Somebody's put in an offer on it because a flipper can come into this and do some real work and do a lot of stuff to it. People just don't understand. Let me go back to that garage. I was going too fast. Okay. These flippers, and I've had a video on this before when I talked about it. It doesn't take anything for these flippers to, flip some of these houses. A good flipper could come in this house for $20,000, make it look presentable enough to sell. 30,000 can make it look like a palace. Because the prices that, you and I can get, they don't get that. Remember, a lot of that is labor. They're doing the labor themselves. I know a guy, he's actually a real estate agent, but he also does day trading. He's working with my, firm, or at least he used to be. I don't know if he still is or not. To be honest, he's one of those guys you never see around. I met him once, and what he does is he moves into a house, let's say like this, and in his spare time, he fixes the house up. He says he's never put more than 30,000 a house, and I've seen him put some of his flips, and they are spectacular. There are ways to get some serious money out of a house when you do the work yourself. Problem is, some of these flippers, like I like to call them the Howard Johnson flippers, they go and then they want some general contractor and they're trying to find all this profit when there may not be profit. So, be honest, this cheapest house in Las Vegas right now is probably going to sell if it isn't already. And one of the things I like to bring up to folks on sales like this, when I say it's probably sold and we just don't know it, everyone's gotten a little too smart for their own game. So there's so much information, especially in Nevada, which is an open record state. You can find out everything that happened to that house through various websites. And what people will do is they'll think they have a little bit of a bargaining chip. So they'll go like, "Oh, the house has been under contract twice, so I can negotiate harder." Well, the agents got wind of what's going on, or I finally called. It's like, why would I take this house off the market? Because somebody can change their mind. So a lot of agents will not take that, put in the MLS that the house is under contract for several days after it's under contract. So this is why I tell people who are like, "Oh, spring button, I want to go see a house. I want to go see a house." Sometimes a person will send me 10 houses and 0 are available, and it shows them all available in the MLS. See, that's that little problem. I got to contact and follow up on every one of these agents to see if they actually have a house that's on the market. It's unfortunate. I wish there was another way to do it. Like somebody put a little sneaker, little signal in there that only real estate agents can see. It's like, yeah, we're like actually under contract. Don't worry about calling me. I really wish folks could cooperate like that because if I want to go show houses to folks, I got to spend 3 and 4 hours tracking agents down to find out they sent me 10 houses they're interested in and 0 are available. Doesn't help much. Okay. So we got that going. Let's see what our condos look like this week. So right now, the cheapest condo that is kind of that north that Nellis area is $110,000, just a dollar under. Let's call it what it is. It is 862 square feet. I've seen smaller. One bedroom, two bath. That's interesting. One bedroom, two bath. Let's see what this sucker looks like here. Oh my goodness, that is. I'm liking that. Can we see inside? Oh, that condo's gone. There's just no way in the world I could pick up the phone right now. Agent tell me they already have it under contract, or they got 10 offers and they're waiting for more to come in. That's just too nice for that price. I can't believe someone listed for that price. Ooh, I'm gonna do something I have never done before. Let me see if I can do this. Let's see what the other condos in that complex have sold for. This is gonna be interesting. Never done this one online live before. So there are three active. So get this down to condos. There could be some surrounding condos. Let's take a look. And as far as sold in that area, none are that size. They're selling for a lot more. This was sold for 105. Let's see what happened here. That looks like the same complex. In the last 6 months, this was sold for 105. I can't figure that out. Must have been early. Let's see here. No, end of November. I'm absolutely blown away. Let's get some privacy here, see what's going on. So this condo, they accepted everything, paid out a great co-op. It's sold for cash. Huh, that's interesting. Actually, these folks listed this condo at 99,000 and sold it for that price. So that is quite unbelievable. Okay. So we got the lowest price home, townhome, and let's see what we got. Sorry, that was a condo. Here's the lowest price townhome. Pretty sure that's here in town. No, no, I shouldn't have done that. Let's go back. Ah, lowest price townhome. 123.5, 608 square feet, 2 bedroom, 1 bath. Wait a minute. 2-car garage. Okay, I can't wait to see this one. Oh, okay. Okay. This one may not go as fast. Yeah, it's had a little bit of damage. Just a bit. Just a bit of damage. And 123, it was 1971. I'm scratching my chin right now. I don't know what's going to happen on that. Okay, let's go ahead and hit that all important median market before I get into the median stuff here. Let's go over this real fast for you. Just so you know where we're at this week. This is kind of a little mini breakdown. We've gone up another 5,000. The median price is now 425. Average price is now 506. With condo and townhomes, the median is 242, 267. So keep that in mind. So we're looking at that 425 range. We got several of them that are on the market. Now remember, that's what sold. So you probably have to take this up to 430 or so just to try to figure that out. But we're just going to look at the 425 market. Okay, this is interesting. I cannot believe there's a house this cheap in 89135. 425. Let's see what we get here. 89135 is a very, very prestigious zip code. And it's 1,143 square feet, 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 2-car garage on the market for 3 days. It's going to be interesting how fast that one disappears. Let me get some privacy in here. Take a look at it. HOA is great. Uh, you've got an HOA and you have a master plan. So 89135 is Summerlin. So master plan is 48 a month, and the association is 48 a month for a total of 96 a month. Um, it may seem small, but here in Las Vegas, 89135 Summerlin, yeah, that there's going to be a lot of people after that house. No other reason that it's Summerlin. People desire Summerlin above everything else. Let's see if I can get to that 40 as you were 506. Did I say as you were? So got one here right at 506. Let's take a look before I get out. Okay, here we go. So here's one for 506. It's in Sun City, Summerlin. So that's a retirement community. Looks like it's been redone. 55 plus. Now that I'm doing this, I may as well mention some things to you because I'm trying to get you educated here. In Sun City, Summerlin, just the Sun City, Summerlin, you have all of these fees that you're expected to pay just joining the HOA, and one of them is called the NORA fee. And let's just be honest, everything dealing with HOAs is nothing but a cash grab. You've got to pay, I believe currently it's like $1,500 to join the association. This is something that most sellers are not going to pay. I don't think any seller is going to pay it. And the end result is it's another 1,500 bucks out of your pocket. Let me see if this agent disclosed it. Oh, the Nora fee on this house is $1,772. So it's very nice. This agent actually did it. A lot of agents don't. Some don't know. A lot who specialize in Sun Cities, of course, are going to know that. Okay, so we have covered most of that. Let's go back here for a sec. I believe we've covered it all. Who wants to see them? I don't think anybody wants to see the most expensive. Hey, Rochelle, let me put you out here. Ask a question. Let's see here. So, are the houses selling based on a virtual tour, sight unseen? I'm going to be honest. Because of COVID, there has been a shift in national thought. Nationwide, over 40% of all homes are now being sold sight unseen. Now, if your agent's doing their job properly, you're not going to see it sight unseen. It's going to be something like a virtual tour that's done by the agent and you, where the agent's walking around. I just closed on one last month where we did that. They were moving from, I don't want to say where people are moving from, another part of the country. And every house tour I did, we got on Zoom and I just did a tour of the house, went through everything they wanted to see, and that's how we did it. Uh, it's becoming more and more common, especially for people who are out of town, purely because there is no way to get here quick enough because all the good homes are going to disappear within a day or two. So there's no way for you to see something. Oh my goodness, I love that. Get a ticket, get on a plane, get here to see it before it's gone. So that's why so many are selling like that. People are just plain getting more used to it. Plus, there are all kinds of ways out of a contract. There are at least 5 ways out of the, purchase contract here in Nevada, and one of them we have is known as due diligence. The due diligence is a period. This is when you do all of your inspections and stuff, and during due diligence, you can cancel for any reason that you want. So that is normally set between 7 and 10 days. You kind of negotiate, you put in the contract. Sometimes a seller may come back and say, I want less due diligence, or someone may offer to waive it. I've never really seen that too much because you really want to know what you're doing. So I know some people say they want to see a house before they put an offer, but if a house is great, it's going to have 10 offers anyway. Chances are you only have a 10% chance of getting the house unless you're doing something spectacular. So it really doesn't hurt anything. I've seen people put in offers and then come and see it and then go like, nah, next. I've had that happen. Not last year, year before last. Yeah, I did it all sight unseen, and then it was like came for the inspection during due diligence, cancel contract. It happens, man. The other one that is very common right now, I could probably I think we've done enough of this. I'm going to do a search. I'm going to kind of show it to you if I can hide anything. A lot of times when you have a renter in there, this state is not like some that says a renter has to show a house if you're trying to sell it. So that's not going to always happen. But once they have an offer on the house, the seller does, the law states that this renter has to let you in. So you'll see this a lot where renters, well, not the renters, sellers, because they have an uncooperative renter, will say, okay, you can see the house. I mean, you have to put an offer, have the offer accepted. We'll do all negotiations. and you have to make it contingent upon viewing the house. Once you do that, tenant has no option because they have to be able to let you go in, view the house, do all of the inspections and everything by law here. And let me go through what I'm trying to do here is I'm going to go by some, so like occupancy occupied by tenant. And let's see here. Now what I'll do is I'm just going to go in and I'm just going to find a place, give a little privacy because I'm going to open a few of these up, then try to make it a little private for you. Maybe try to go back to my little thing there. Okay, this one allows the tenants allowing that. Has a lease buyout also. So what they'll do is I'm trying to find an example here. Okay, there's too many of these. There's this agent. She has a absolute massive number of listings, and what she does, I believe, I can't swear to it, is they're all rentals, and it's one of those. I think they list them at the same time. Then whatever happens, happens. Okay, tenants cooperative, so they're not asking it there. Not asking it there. See, now I'm just being embarrassed here. Oh, here we go. Let's see if I can do this in a way. Okay, so there's nothing private being shown here, so I'll show this one. So as you can see right here, it's saying, please make offer subject to interior inspection. And you'll see that a lot. I'd say probably a 20% to a quarter of anything with the tenant in it probably says that. So that is one of the examples that you can really use, besides the one of people who are just out of town and they keep losing. Because I've had people who insist that they're from Missouri. If you have to show them, and they don't want to see it through a camera lens. They have to see it themselves and walk it themselves. I've actually seen people get on planes multiple times to come here. It goes like, oh, it's gone. It happened while you were flying. Or they're at the airport. I had to tell you that house you're coming to look for. It's no longer available. So that's up to them if they want to do that. Any other questions? I'll just move on to some news and all that jazz. While we're doing that, we've pretty much gone over all the statistics. Prices just keep going up. Units sold are going down because there are fewer listings. Prices are going up. There is one spark of good news, I would say. If you were with me last week, I talked about interest rates and how they had spiked. Well, they spiked back down. So interest rates for this week are back down. Look at that. So anybody who locked in a rate last week got royally jacked, especially if they're on an FHA loan, because you saw uh, this week 3.375%. Last week 4%. 640 credit score 4.25%. This week 3.75%. So somebody got royally jerked if they took out a loan last week. So this week is much better. VA, let's see here, we're down to 3.5 last week. It was 3.5, so it really didn't change any. 375 at 640. Let's see if there was any change. So in reality, the only people who really got jerked around were people on FHA. And I'll be very honest, I hate to say this, everybody else is actually the same. A lot of FHA, and I have to be honest with you, I do a lot of VA. A lot of VA is not getting accepted right now. And let's go over that. Let's talk about why FHA and VA loans don't get accepted. FHA and VA loans don't get accepted because they're government-backed loans, and then you'll go like, "Wait a minute, most loans are government-backed if they're conforming loans," which is dang near 600,000 less now. Uh, but these are outright backed by a government agency, unlike conforming conventional loans, which are just Fannie Mae, Jennie Mae, Freddie Mac, and all these folks buy the loans, pack them up, and then you can actually invest in those government entities, GSEs, government sponsored entities. The VA and FHA are actually backing these loans. So their criteria for the appraisal is much higher. Plus, sometimes you may have to do stuff that you don't have to do in a conventional loan. When I say you, I mean a buyer, I mean a seller, sometimes the buyer. And it creates a bit of friction. That's just being very honest because if there's so many people wanting a house, you got plenty of people with cash and conventional loans. Why would you settle? I'm saying that it's like I do all VA loans. I mean, I do a lot of VA loans, and it's really hard right now. And on FHA and VA, you also have a thing where some people believe, and I say that, and it's on both ends, buyer and the seller, where they're like, you have a buyer who's like, "Well, I'm a veteran. They're supposed to pay my closing costs." No, they're not supposed to pay your closing costs. They can. They can pay the closing cost on an FHA loan. They can pay the closing cost on a conventional loan. As a matter of fact, for a conventional loan, they can pay more than they can on an FHA or VA. They can pay up to 6% on a conventional. And a lot of people have 3% conventional loans, which means in theory, somebody with a conventional loan could have someone pay their down payment and their closing costs. So, yeah, it's just that it's kind of like a sense of entitlement sometimes. I know I'm a veteran and I've had my closing costs paid for this current house and house I lived in before. It's just this is the way it is. Okay, here we go. Got another question from Rochelle here. How long after an offer is accepted is the earnest money to be paid? Normally, it is 2 business days. So, if an offer were accepted on a Friday, you have until end of the day on Tuesday, unless there is a holiday in between, to have it paid. And going into earnest money, average earnest money right now is about 1%. So, if you have a $400,000 house, you're looking at about $4,000 in earnest money normally. Every once in a while, you're going to run across a seller who goes a little nuts, and you'll have a $400,000 house, and they're asking for 15,000. Uh, Sometimes they do it because they figure that the buyer is going to be more serious because they're asking for 15,000. But I think sometimes it's greed because they think they're going to be able to save it, or not save it, but keep it somehow. And it's like, oh, I'm just going to walk away 15,000 if something happens. This is my walk away money. Which, by the way, I should mention, I've mentioned this in only one other video. I found out there are parts of the country now where there is walk away money. We do not have this, knock on wood, here in Nevada, and hopefully nobody gets wind of it because I think it's a bad thing. Uh, but yeah, some parts of the country they have walkaway money. So you can have like five, $10,000 of walkaway money, which if the buyer cancels the contract, the seller gets that 5, 10, whatever it is, and for their walkaway money. Whereas here, there is no such thing, thank goodness. I hope that answers your question, Rochelle. Okay, so we've talked about interest rates a bit. I'm starting to wonder, did I share my screen? Now I got to go back and like, did I share my screen? Okay. So we've talked about interest rates, talked about what's going on in the market compared. I did a market update video. If you guys haven't seen it, uh, please go. It gets a little bit deeper into what's going on in the market. See here. Just want to show this one real quick. Maybe we'll use this time to find it. Who knows if someone wants to. So just looking at the paper, the only real thing that talked about were the extremes in the housing market over the week. But this was what's really interesting. They showed the cheapest house in Las Vegas, and it's 57,000, which means we need to go see it. Oh, so you got the address here. Let's get a little creative. Let's go and take a look at this sucker. So we got the address. Let's see if it's even still on the market. So let's see here. Let's go looking at it. 3305. And it is no longer on the market. Let's see what's happened to it. Get it over here so I can see it. So 3305. It's interesting. It says it's sold and it closed. So this is from this week, but they're talking about a house that sold in November. Huh. Interesting. So this is what it's like here. There are no pictures of the interior. Let's get some privacy here, see what went on with this sale. House and much needed TLC and overall improvements. It holds potential. Two bedroom, one bath. Spacious yard with patio and porch. Landscaping will need some TLC. Looks like it. Oh, this one's interesting. Had possible squatters in it. So I bet you sold for cash. It was a short sale. So potential squatter, short sale. Huh? And it actually sold for 57. The original list price was 60, but it sold immediately. So it just came on the market and was gone. Let's see how long it took. So it was listed. This thing was pre-sold. This thing was pre-sold. They put it on market for statistics. Reason I can tell it, I can show this one. This is the history report. The house came on the market on the 17th at 11:54 a.m. Was put under contract at 11:55, aka they went, yeah, we got to sold. We got to put it on MLS because we want our statistics to look good because everybody loves their statistics. And yeah, so never one ever had a chance to even take a look in this $57,000 house based on when it went up, when it thing it sure it sold for cash. Let's go see. I'm 100%. You can only do cash and conventional. It went for cash. So I'm willing to bet, like Nostradamus here, we're going to see this house on the market. So it's November, January. Well, with the shortage of materials and labor, it's going to take about 3 to 4 months to flip. Maybe flip now. So probably by the end of this month or end of next month, you're going to see this house again. I may actually keep a look, watch out, and tell you what happens. We didn't see the inside, what it looked like, because it needed some TLC. Uh, but this house is going to be flipped, and you're going to see it back on the market. I'd say for about $200,000 minimum. It's probably gonna be more like 250, if that little. Because this is let's see how big it is. Oh, it's gonna be more. It's 1,000 square feet, 1,010 square feet. It's on a 10,000 square foot lot, two bedroom, one bath. That's what's holding it back. A good flipper, if they were to come in here, they would take that. Okay, thanks, Tony. I will keep you updated. I'll see if I every week when I do this. Um, I'll make that a point to see if it's been put on the market yet. Let me get you recognized here. There you go. So yeah, it's gonna be on the market end of this month, sometime next month, maybe, with a 10,000 square foot lot. Let's see what stuff is sold for in that area. Let's do this. That's actually not a bad area of North Las Vegas. I actually like that zip code. Hold on here 1 second. I'll get you guys so you can see what's going on. So let's see what's been listed under contract and sold. Oh my goodness. Look, remember, this is within a quarter of a mile, even though this is 1,000 square feet. Look at this house here. It was 1,300 square feet, 1,356, sold for 350. Yeah, if they add a bedroom and a bath to that, I don't think they can change the garage. That's the unfortunate thing. You cannot change a garage. I've never seen anybody do that, and that's going to take probably 20 grand in value away. But look at this one here. It's within a quarter of a mile, and it hasn't haven't even gone inside. I bet you it hasn't been updated. Yep, this house has not been updated in 20 years. So if the house hasn't been updated in 20 years, they got 350. When you factor in everything, a flipper, what they're gonna do, go in, maybe if they're smart, and I've this is a pet peeve of mine. Talk about it. Yeah, if they're smart, they're gonna get the lawn done, landscaping done, make that look really nice, and the interior look really nice. They may add on to it. Like I said, you can easily add a bedroom and bath. They put 50 grand into this house. They're gonna sell it for 350 easy. Easy. That's why people love to talk about flipping. Somebody's gonna make 250 on this house because they were able to get it at a good price. And just look what everything else sold in that area. That is within a quarter of a mile. That's just a couple of blocks. All these houses, and you see that even the cheapest one, which is under contract. Oh, you got to see this. Hold up, you got to see this. This house is 205. At least that's what it's they're getting for. Look at that. This they're getting 205 for it in this condition. This condition right here. So yeah. Somebody made a smart deal there. Is going to put money in their pockets for generations just from this one flip. That is one lucky SOB. I don't know how somebody came across that kind of luck. So, anything you guys want to ask? Any questions or anything? Want to make sure you have all your questions answered before I do anything else here. Uh, while waiting for a question to come up, I'm not going to really play this. It's a I've had a couple of videos I've done about solar. I mean, I'm pro solar, but I'm anti solar at the same time. The reason being is no matter how someone tries to dance around it, uh, you, you're not saving that much money. And on this one, Lato's Law, I love looking at Steve Lato here. He's one of the few subscriptions that I have. Even though I'm asking for some subscriptions. Uh, he talked about a lady. She was 91, and somehow the month before she died, she entered into a solar contract, and it was all done by email. Even though none of her relatives said, they're like, she doesn't use email, but somehow she got a solar contract the month before she died by email. And then he points out that it was one of these PPAs, and there are different ways to do solar. PPA is one where you pay the solar company for your electricity at a fixed rate. Well, it was pointed out that the rate that she was paying the solar company was higher than the electric rate. I'm serious. Some of these guys are the ultimate scammers. If they weren't scammers, they wouldn't be always calling, talking about they're from Green Energy Solutions and all these other places. It's a scam. Run. It's a trap. This next one, I just wanted to put this one out there. It's about a realtor in Tampa and like a bunch of red flags with a so-called cash buyer. So a lot of times people, especially in this day and age, wonder why realtors don't go rushing out. And it's like, oh, I want to see a house. It's like, well, I need to meet you in the office first. The reason being is they want to one, make sure you are who you say you are. Two, they're not wasting your time. And three, so they have a life. In other words, they're still breathing. They don't end up in the ground or cremated. Because if you go through this one, it was obviously a trap. And then she talks about how she asked for the guy's proof of funds. He got all indignant and then sent her something that was supposed to be the proof of funds. And she ran a image thing of it through Google because you know you can do images through Google and found out it was something that's like right over here. I'm like pointing like you can see it, or you can see the little image that he sent saying this is proof of funds. It was just an image that's all over Google if you do a Google search on it. So a lot of agents, except for young and stupid ones, are not going to meet you at a house who haven't met you before because they don't know who you are or if you're crazy. Where did this come from? I don't look at the mirror enough. Hey, Rochelle. That's an interesting one. When I PCSed here, land was virtually worthless. It's not considered worthless anymore. And we have an issue. It looks like we're in a sprawling desert, which we are. The thing is, we're surrounded by government land and we're surrounded by Native American land. So the tribes own the stuff around us along with the federal government. Every once in a while, the federal government will sell something, but for the most part, we're kind of landlocked because of that. And because of the change in the economy, land is worth more now. A lot of times that they're paying these prices, it's kind of like, even though I've never lived in California, they you say like in Beverly Hills and places like that where you can't build anymore, people will spend millions of dollars for an old movie star's home or old home or something. And then the first thing they do is bulldoze the home because they're just trying to get in that location. So think about this. You have a location now. You saw what the prices were around that. You have a not so great house. You saw the house that was selling for 205 that you saw what condition it was in. You bulldoze that or just go in and fix it up because you'll be surprised. I've seen houses that have been burned down that get fixed up real nice, real nice. So, uh, the long and short, it depends. Like, look at when you purchase a new home. Now, it used to be you'd have, well, it used to be you'd buy a home. Then they started coming up with this land premium. Well, now they have even bigger land premiums, and then you have to bid on the land. So, yeah, it is what it is, and I don't know how long it's gonna take to get out of this. It's actually really sad. I keep hearing people say, "Oh, I'm not ready right now because I wanna sit on the sidelines until, prices come down." I remember when the median price of a home was about 200 and some thousand, back when I first got in real estate and I was still on active duty. I would see people saying the same thing. Prices of homes have gotten so high now. I don't want to buy yet because I know it's going to fall in the next 6 months. I can remember conversations like that 6 years ago. Those $200,000 homes are now $500,000 homes. So when we were looking at the homes here, like the 425 homes and the 510 homes or 506 homes, those homes 6 years ago were 175 to $200,000. So someone who bought a house in like 2012 and paid 200,000 for it. Actually, if you bought it in 2012, that house would now be worth almost 600,000. So yeah, those are lucky people. I remember one time a lady came here from Reno and she wanted to she was approved for 280, but she wanted to keep it under 240, and she was just trying hard, hard. Just and at one point, she was like at the trunk of her car doing something, getting ready to go back to the airport, and she starts crying. And she goes, "Why won't somebody give me a great deal on a great house in a great neighborhood?" All I could think was, if you had, and this was now back when houses were 250 for a decent house. And she's like, saying this, and I'm like, all I could think was like, if you had something and everybody wanted it, would you give somebody a deal who you don't know? I know people give deals. Like I've seen veterans give other veterans deals. I've seen people of the same religion give deals. Family, of course, friends occasionally, but strangers, no, it's not going to happen. MB, I appreciate that. I try to be informative and get all the information I can out there. In all honesty, it hurts me more than it helps. You would think people like an honest realtor. People say they want an honest realtor until they get a realtor, and then they want someone who's sneaky, conniving, and a liar. It's like politics. You know what? I shouldn't do it. I don't like to talk politics. But you brought it up. It made me think. I was looking at this morning's Dilbert cartoon. I love Dilbert. It's like the only cartoon I read. Hold on. Let me bring up this Dilbert. You'll see what I'm talking about. And this is what happens. I was talking about it's more geared towards other stuff, and you can probably see what I'm talking about. Look at this. See, Ashok is talking about how he hasn't lost a debate because he treats everything as a personal threat. Uh, he says something. Are you calling me a liar? Oh, I was just skeptical that it works every situation. What data do you have? Aren't you seeing this in life right now? What everybody's doing? That's what realtors do. And I shouldn't say realtors. I say real estate agents, because technically, as a professional, you're supposed to be above reproach. But we all know that most professionals now are not above reproach. Look at lawyers. uh, you want a realtor who's going to. You sit there and you say you want someone who's going to negotiate strongly for you. How do you negotiate strongly? Liar? Yeah, liar, liar, pants on fire. I had a listing. One time somebody calls me up and she's like, "My clients, they only have X amount to spend. Can you really they really want this and they're veterans and all this stuff and they don't have a single penny to spend." And maybe she's like, I don't know, working on my feelings or whatever. So I get out there, I convince my seller that I won't do this anymore. I see why people like go like, "No, I ain't doing that." Uh, and then they're like, "Oh, they're not interested. They found another house in Green Valley." And then I found out they're paying $100,000 more for it. They couldn't afford one penny more. In other words, they were doing what people wanted them to do: lie, cheat, steal. And what I was saying, it cost me a lot of business because I do my best not to lie, cheat, and steal. Uh, Man, I'm not gonna get myself in trouble for this. So I had this dude I was working with. I kept telling him the truth about what he needed to do, him and his family, whatever. And then he comes up with some lie saying that he's no longer buying a house, that he's moving to another state. Okay, fine. Then he calls me up the other day going, I need to figure out how I can get out of a housing contract. I know your butt didn't move to another state and find a house in the last 3 days. You didn't like what I was saying. So the stuff I say on here is like what the truth is and what it takes to get a house, what it takes to sell a house. People may not like that. And occasionally I run across folks who really love that. uh, so it's really a pleasure to work with them because they've kind of seen what it is instead of somebody shoving crap up down their throats and stuff. And those you laughed, yes, yes. Rochelle, let's see here. What you got? HUD homes are still a thing. As a matter of fact, let me show you how to search for a HUD home. Look at that. You're going to get another lesson here. So let me get in here. I've had enough of a shook. We don't need to talk to her. We done talked about it. So it's actually go to HUD Home Store, HUD homestore.com. Government site, but it's .com. And then it resolves to where it needs to be .gov and everything. All you got to do is this is nationwide, so I'm not just talking about Nevada. You can look anywhere in the country. So, like here in Nevada, you just click Nevada. Then it's going to ask for the county. So, for this local area, we're in Clark County. And I'm just going to see what's all here. There are none at this time. Occasionally, there's going to be some. Let's see. As a matter of fact, I think that just gave us everything in Nevada. So, right now, there's one in Lyon County, one in Churchill County. So, talking about the way it works, you actually have to go through. They change their procedures all the time. Sometimes it's you submit the actual paperwork, but it has to be a wet signature. Nothing can be like electronic signatures or anything. It's the government. And another time they will come back and they'll do um, it has to be electronic. So it's whatever the thing is because they have different servicers. And be honest, I completely screwed up when they changed servicers. The next time, see, this is me screwing up and admitting it. Uh, I actually had a chance to get on the contract because they changed the way they did things. And I really hate myself for not following through because I have friends who are HUD realtors and other um, ar- areas of the country. And it used to be prior to the current servicer, you had to be a broker, and then the broker would assign the agents who worked on the HUD contracts. This new contract is by agent and not by broker. And I got an inside track when I could have gotten in, and I screwed up purely by I was so busy I couldn't go and like apply to the new servicer. I had all their info. I could have gotten in under everybody and had the HUD contract, and I didn't. It is what it is. Matter of fact, until Rochelle there mentioned it, uh, I didn't even think about it again. Uh, but HUD homes are still a thing when they come up. So few people are behind right now. It's like people saying, like, I'm gonna just go buy a foreclosure or short sale or something like that. There are short sales, but there are very few. You know what? This is a lesson. Let's go ahead and do it. So let's go back here. Let's see how many um, homes there are under foreclosure and short sale. I'm going to go ahead and preempt my. Let me see if I can preempt this. Yeah, I'm going to preempt this and limit it down to Southern Nevada, or at least, come on now, this area. So Las Vegas, North Las Vegas, and Henderson. And I'm going to go back. Now, unfortunately, this thing doesn't do like what you would call Boolean math. And I'm going to explain a couple things. So, like, first of all, let's look at the short sales. Right now, in all of Las Vegas, North Las Vegas, and Henderson, there are six, count them, six short sales. Well, let's take a look at them. Yeah, one's for 2.7 million, one's for 1.2 million. Well, let's look at something somebody can actually have. So 235,000. Here's a short sale. Nothing inside, probably because they didn't want anybody inside. Here's one for 215. That is technically a mobile home that they have converted into single family residence. Okay. Now let's go back and look at the foreclosures. Now we got to get into a little bit of politics. And I don't mean like politics between Democrats and Republicans. Uh, we all know what a short sale is, right? It's a short sale. I'm sorry, a repo. It's been repossessed. Well, Some oh, they changed it. I don't have to get into any politics. They done changed it. Uh, maybe because it confused too many people. A Some lending institutions, especially the government, did not like to feel that they've foreclosed on anyone. So they called it REO, real estate owned. And prior, because nobody's asked to do a foreclosure in such a long time, I hadn't even noticed this. But these used to be two separate because some institutions will allow you to say foreclosure and some will not, especially government. Like if you look at a HUD home, those are on the MLS as REO, not foreclosure. So now they got, it doesn't even say foreclosure, it says repo or REO. Okay. And this is what I was talking about, Boolean math. I can't put yes in here for both and get them both to do it. So right now in Southern Nevada, Las Vegas, North Las Vegas, and Henderson, there are four. I'm sorry. I should have had this up here so you could see it. And let's go to the results, see what we get here. Okay, these are a little more reasonable. Two are condos, one is a townhouse, one is a single family residence. And there it is for our foreclosure of the four. Let's go ahead and just finish this up. Here's the condo. Yep, 680 square feet. Here's a 1,000 square foot condo. And here's that townhome. Now, if you look at the prices, you will see that they are not much off from a regular home you would buy. You're barely saving any money. The only thing you're getting out of this is maybe somebody doesn't want to deal with the foreclosure or short sale. So 4 plus 6 is 10 in all of Southern Nevada and all the houses that are available. 10 are what you would call distressed properties. So not too much. Okay, and I got Tony here asking another question. Um, as far as the individual I was talking about, I believe this is what you're asking. Yes, I did. I actually gave the person all of the information they needed about how to get out of a contract. So, as far as getting out of a contract in Nevada, let's go ahead and talk about that real quick. I know I'm going a bit over where I wanted to be. Got to get some food for my lovely wife, which since I didn't defrost, wait, I did defrost. Well, anyway, uh, the way you get out of a contract in Nevada as a buyer. So the contract, for the most part, is written in the towards the buyer. In other words, to help the buyer out for the most part. A lot of these institutional flippers will either have you use their own contract or they will make you sign a addendum to the contract that takes away all of your rights, which they can do because they get their lawyers to draw it up to say, oh, yeah, use your thing. Okay, here, before we accept this, here's your counter offer with all this stuff that takes away your rights. But anyway, here are your rights under a normal contract, which is going to be about 95% of the time. Well, also, I forgot all the contracts that are written on a new home will be on the builder's contract, and they are written to take away your rights also. But let's just talk about a regular contract, buying a house from somebody else who hadn't had a lawyer draw up some lengthy 2-page counteroffer that's going to take away all your rights. We've already talked about the first one. The first one is your due diligence. So you have 7 to 10 days to cancel for due diligence. You can cancel for any reason. This due diligence is the time you do your inspections. You can also run around and you can knock on the neighbors' doors and say, like, how do you like living in this neighborhood? This is time if you want to find out if there's a sexual predator living in the neighborhood because you got 6-year-old children. That's the time you can do it and cancel for any reason. You don't even have to tell them why you're canceling. You're done. The next one you can get out is, of course, the appraisal. If the appraisal comes in low, there are actually several things that can happen with the appraisal. I'm just going to cut it short at that. And if you want to, I'll go over it. If somebody asks the question, you can get out for the appraisal. You can get out for your loan. If your lender does not um, grant you the loan, you have a period in there. You're going to put in how long it's going to take for the lender to actually approve your loan. That gets into a longer thing because you may have a pre-approval, but the pre-approval 90% of the time is not underwritten. It doesn't count until it's underwritten. And you'll put in something like 21, 25 days or the whole 30 days for underwriting. If it's not underwritten, it's in the contract properly, you can get out for that. So that's three. Another one you can get out for is the HOA. See, this is the secret weapon here, the HOA. You over 70% of the single family homes, 100% of the condos, and 100% of the townhomes are in an HOA. Technically, the day that the contract is ratified, the agent is supposed to order the HOA package. The HOA has 10 days to get it to the agent, for them to get it to you, but you have 5 days to review it. Most people don't review it. Most, except for really high anal people. But you are allowed to cancel for any reason. You're not even required to tell them why or HOA. You just say, I don't want to live under the rules of this HOA. So those are the main ways to get out. Due diligence, um, appraisal, loan, HOA. HOA is always your um, a good one to stick by with, purely because when I said you're supposed to order it, it's actually within 2 days. Nobody does it. The law says you're supposed to do it. Nobody does it. And here's the reason. HOA packages can be very expensive. You can be in multiple HOAs. Some places here in Las Vegas have 3 HOAs. So, like if you're in Summerlin, you've got the Summerlin Master HOA. That's got to be ordered. You've got the HOA that surrounds you. That maybe has to be ordered. Not should, could, has to be ordered by law. Some are HOAs within HOAs. You can go into a gated neighborhood here, and there's another gated neighborhood, usually more expensive homes that are in that are an enclave of that HOA. And because of that, you got to order that HOA, the HOA that surrounds you, that you're also a part of, but you're in the richer part of the richer part of the rich part. And then you're in Summerlin, which is one of the richest parts of the city. So some people have 3. And those HOA packages can cost up to $750. Now the Summerlin one's like 250, but let's say you're in a hoity-toity HOA that's in a more with a more hoity-toity HOA inside of that, that's in a little enclave gated neighborhood inside of the gated neighborhood. I've been to those places. Those are funny. So 750, that's 1500 plus your 250. And they're only good for a certain amount of time. So agents don't order them because they don't want to waste $1,750 up to of their client's money, because people will get very mad at that. So what the practice is agents wait until a certain portion, like I don't know, you've passed your due diligence, you've the appraisal has come back, something like that, and then they order it. And sometimes they'll just go, "Oh, I'll just put a rush on it because I can get it in 2 days on a rush." The HOA, it's another story. I'll get deeper into that sometime. So, because of that, most people don't have that 5 days actually. So you can cancel all the way to the end of it on most cases, purely because the local practice is just that most people don't know that. So there are so many ways to get out. So I just gave you the 4 big ones. Anybody have any other questions? Because I know I've kept y'all a long time. Anybody still here? Tony, Rochelle, MB? Any questions before I end this? Okay. So no questions. I'm going to ask this one last time, folks. I'll answer your question here in a second. Those of you who are watching this on a replay, uh, I had some goals. I wanted to hit 750 by the end of last year. Didn't hit it, but I want to hit it as soon as possible. I am ever so close, and of course, that magical YouTube number of 1,000. So if you could help me out, if you have not subscribed, if you could please hit that subscribe button and hit that like button, because that's how the YouTube algorithm works. I'd appreciate it. Now to your question, MB. Put your house on the market and you want the house back out of contract. Can the buyer sue you? I got some bad news for you, bro. I'm sorry. I'm calling you bro. I don't know if you're male or female. So I'm just going to use that as one thing to say. Yes, they can sue you. So as far as the way suing goes, they can sue you for what's known as specific performance. So they can do is say, okay, you said, let's say the majority of times when people pull out is because they were moving to Kansas City, Missouri, or Kansas. One's good, one's not. Okay, sorry, didn't know. MB, you're female. Uh, and the job they didn't get their job fell through because they put their house in the market. It's like, well, I'm staying. Now, most people are not going to sue you in a case like that. Most. You will run across an a-hole or two who may try to sue you, and the only thing they can get is what's known as specific performance, which means they can make you sell them the house. I have actually never seen it. Most people are going to just go on to the next. I don't know what would happen in this day and age with such a shortage in housing. On the other side, let's say the person I'm a buyer and I want to back out because I was moving to Las Vegas and the job fell through. You cannot force me to buy the house. Now, if I did not pull out properly, the only thing you can do is keep the earnest money deposit. That is the only thing you can do. So you can't just go like, hey, I was depending on you buying this house so I can buy this house. I'm going to sue you. No, can't do that. And also, let's say the deal falls through, and I've had this one happen one time where I had kind of I was representing the seller and the buyer. I mean, we couldn't the seller couldn't fix everything that needed to be fixed on the house at that time. They didn't have the funds. So the buyer is like, well, what are we going to do? It's like the only thing we can do, unless you can take it like this, which they couldn't because it was a VA loan, and the things that needed to be fixed were VA conditions. So it's like, okay, well, we need our money back for our appraisal and um our inspection. I'm like, so and the agent called, threatened me and stuff. I'm like, whatever. You can't sue for crap. They cannot sue you for that. If you can't perform, because there is nothing that says you have to fix the house up. Nothing. So here's a little hint I'll give somebody who wants to sell their house and they haven't gotten to that point and they want to get out of the contract. Find something to screw up the house. It's kind of like you used to do. I mean, we didn't do it as air crew, but the maintainers would do it. Like if they were in a good place, they didn't want to leave. Like we were in Singapore or Thailand or something or Australia. Um, Sometimes the jet got broke. If you know that this buyer is not going to let you out, make sure something maybe gets broke that and you just go like, I'm not going to fix it. They cannot force you to fix the house. By the way, so that's cool. And Rochelle has another question. How frequently do HOA increase in charges? To be honest, in this day and age, I haven't seen one increase. Matter of fact, my HOA went down. When I bought this house, it was 55, went down to 50. And the reason it went down had more to do with the fact that more people were paying. Most HOA fees go up for one reason, and that's because people stop paying. So, like when the economy goes bad, people stop pay one of the first things they stop paying is maybe the HOA. So according to what state you're in and how aggressive HOAs are allowed to be to try to repossess your house for not non-payment. Uh, so if there aren't enough people paying, maintenance goes awry, their um, what do you call those things? I'm just gonna call them their funds start diminishing and everything. What they do is they'll just raise it on everybody else. Uh, if there's excessive maintenance, stuff like that. But in general, I have not seen HOAs increase in the last decade. But if the economy were to turn, people were to stop paying, then that's something that could happen. Hope that answers your question. Okay. Any more? I want to give you all of you folks, including MB. I'm going to call you Michelle. I don't know if that's your name. Makes it easier for me. Uh, if you have any questions, I'll give you a minute here because I know there is a slight delay, and I don't want to cut anybody off. I'm out of stuff to talk about. My throat is parched. Hope you all had a good time today. Got some good information, and like again, for those on the replay, I would love that HBO discount from you guys. Help a brother out, and subscribe and hit the like button. Okay, I do not see any more. I will see if I can make it again next week or just make another video. If there's a video that any of you would like to see or for me to go even deeper into something and concentrate on that, I will gladly make a video because a lot of the videos that I make is somebody asking a question or something I think people need to know. And if there's something you want a video made on that has been a question, it doesn't matter if it's here in Las Vegas, it could be in Kalamazoo, Michigan. If I know enough, because I'm not a Michigan real estate agent, but if it's a general real estate question and it kind of fits more to Kalamazoo, I'll try to get that answer. Who knows? Maybe I could turn it into something where I find myself a Kalamazoo agent and we get on and we talk about that Kalamazoo issue. That's another way to get stuff done. But here in Las Vegas, of course, I would like to think myself as an expert. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I will see you again next week. And thank you also, Rochelle, for showing up again. See you guys later. Bye.